Welcome back. This is Hope at Dawn right here at Hope TV, where you look and you live, hoping and praying you are well. That was the musical break. And now time for the newspaper review. My name is George Gishuru.
And my name is Beatrice Nudi, and I will be starting us off with the Daily Nation.
Right.
And the top story here is 15 years of promise and hope. Numerous attempts to amend Supreme Law have failed with the latest campaign underway. More information on this. In 2010, Kenyans adopted a new constitution after its overwhelming approval in a referendum, bringing to an end a 2-decade-long struggle for reforms. While progress is evident today, challenges still do persist. So this is just in commemoration of what we are calling Katiba Day. And of course, we've seen listed hits and also misses. And just one of the hits is that counties have collectively received 3.6 trillion shillings since 2013 to fund development at the grassroots. On the other side of misses, we have state repression, brutal government crackdowns to silence critics, including extrajudicial killings and abductions after youth uprising. This is, in fact, our biggest miss when it comes to where we are as a country. And 2010 is, of course, the year the Constitution was ratified in a referendum replacing the Independence Charter. And that's a story covered on the Daily Nation on pages 4, 5, 6, and also 7. Moving on, I see Nairobi MCA's plot to impeach Sakaja deputy. This is interesting. Story covered on page 10. The big question is why? What has he done this time? But that is a story covered on page 10. You can look at more information on that. Nairobi MCAs are plotting to impeach Sakaja. Of course, that's a story covered there. And I also, but it's not Sakaja, it's the deputy, not Sakaja, so that we don't think it's Sakaja himself, it is Sakaja deputy. Moving on, I see how school heads are hurting free education with illegal levies. This is a story covered on page 12. Free education is becoming a problem. We've had so many discussions and conversations around it, and that's a story covered on page 12. You can look at it. More stories. Kenya gives top honors to His Highness the Aga Khan V, a story covered as well on the Daily Nation. And then lastly, I see Tanzanian discharged from Kenyan hospital after lonely 17 years. Wow. Selina Paul was admitted to Nakuru Teaching and Referral Hospital in 2008, then aged 36 years. She walked out of the facility, a 53-year-old, on Tuesday when hospital officials finally traced her family. It was a tearful reunion with her relatives who had traveled from the neighboring country. Quite interesting. 17 years in hospital.
Wow.
Ish.
17.
Wow. Wow, she was 36 and now she's 53. That is serious.
Serious.
That is almost 2 decades.
Yeah, almost in hospital.
That's like being in prison. Literally. 17. Hey,
that's a long time.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Were there bills to be paid?
Yeah.
Because
you can imagine if you are to pay the bills for those 17 years. It's huge.
Even that hospital has been very patient also. This is a story covered on page 16. If you're asking yourself those questions, you can look at it and probably you'll get a few answers here and there. But that's it for the Daily Nation. But just to touch on one human interest story here, what is the true cost of raising a child in Kenya?
Good question.
What is the true cost? In many Kenyan households, the dream of parenthood is quietly being overshadowed by a relentless financial strain as the soaring cost of raising a child pushes family budgets to breaking point. It's good to have many children running around, but the costs of raising a child, what we need to count the cost. The Bible says count the cost.
Count the cost, yes.
Yeah, but that is what is being reported. But then, we have to remember, Kitambo, they used to give birth to very many kids.
Very many,
10, 12.
Imagine.
But then when you ask them, they tell you life was simple.
By the way, it was.
How many?
But I think the reason why the cost also is, of course, up there is because also of our lifestyles. and also the kind of life that also we want to live.
Exactly.
You know.
By the way, it's true, because people having many children and they
it's
manage.
a choice. Yes, you can manage.
Because they are living small.
Yes.
You know.
You live under your means.
Under your means.
Yeah.
So you can
That's
survive.
the goal. You can survive.
Yeah.
But now it's the choices that we make every day. You know, on financial fitness, we keep having these conversations.
Yeah.
It's the kind of lifestyle that we choose to have.
Yeah, there's a day I was talking to this guy and was saying that watoto wake amapeleka public school.
Exactly.
And he's driving, he has
the,
a job.
The question is, are you taking your children to that school for their own education, or for you to brag
that my son,
that, my son, my children, they go to this school,
school.
Yeah, exactly. So why are you taking them there? Can they access the same level of education elsewhere where they are not charged
so much?
That's a conversation for financial fitness. It's
it's
the Christian Walk segment.
Yeah,
all right. The Standard, they go with the headline, scandalous. All right. So scandalous. There's a photo there of President Ruto, a photo there of Foreign Affairs Principal Secretary Korir Sengoi, and an American congressman. And so they say misplaced priorities. As Kenyans struggle to put food on the table amid the escalating cost of living, the Ruto administration has, behind closed doors, struck a deal to spend hundreds of millions of shillings in taxpayers' funds, not on necessities, but on polishing its battered image in Washington, D.C. This comes just moments after a Republican senator tabled a motion before Congress to reassess Kenya's standing, citing links to Sudanese warlords and a brutal domestic record marked by abductions and killings. Now, the Ruto presidency appears intent on saving face. It's a story on page 4 inside the Standard. And the question I'm asking, why not just do the right thing and save all this money? Anyway, read that on page 4. Then I see, as Kenyans mark 15 years since the promulgation of the Constitution, county governments have come under sharp scrutiny for widespread violations of the very law that created them. That is, of course, today being the 27th of August, it is exactly 15 years since the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution. And then the border industry, which is largely informal, has been growing tremendously, and so are the accident risks, causing a massive loss for owners, operators, and also their victims. Then I see here KQ back down to earth after 12.15 billion half-year loss. And health stakeholders and leaders across the country have called on Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale to take personal responsibility over massive fraud reported within the new health scheme. So pressure is mounting on Duale to take responsibility over SHA fraud. Read that also inside the Standard. And SHA promised quality medical care, but it bleeds taxpayers' funds as well. So you can read that. It's covered inside the Daily, the Standard. And some sports pages. I know Harambee Stars were knocked out of the at the quarterfinal stage. The semi-finals were being played yesterday in Uganda and also in Tanzania. And in the first semi-final, it was between Madagascar. And it was Madagascar and who? And Sudan. Very entertaining match. I was watching the match. Very entertaining match. And it ended after 90 minutes. It was 0-0. Went to extra time. And 4 minutes to the end, so that waende pena. Madagascar, who played a long period of that match with 10 men after a red card, they scored a winner. So Madagascar beat Sudan by 1-0, and so Madagascar qualified for the final, which will be on Sunday. The second one was Morocco versus Senegal. It ended 1-1, went to extra time. They could not be separated, so they went to post-match penalties, and the Atlas Lions of Morocco came out victorious 5-3 on post-match penalties. So Senegal, actually, they were the defending champions, so they will not be able to defend their crown. So the final on Sunday, at the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani, will be Morocco, the two-time champions, versus Madagascar. That is on Sunday.
That one is hot.
It's hot, right?
It's in the heater. That one
Yes,
is hot.
so that one, it promises to be a thrilling encounter on Sunday at Kasarani Stadium. That is the final. And finally, the Business Daily. Flour tycoons buy Savannah Cement in 3.8 billion shillings deal. Mombasa maize millers and Kitui flour close deal. Farm in receivership over 14 billion shillings. KCB Absa debt. Read that as well. And 400 wealthy Kenyans fall off the dollar millionaires list. Uko hapo. So the number of Kenyan dollar millionaires dropped by 400 in the 18 months in June amid pointers that the rich moved cash abroad amid uncertainty caused by Kenya's slowing economy and last year's deadly youth-led protest. It's on front page and page 2 inside the Business Daily. And the Treasury now expects the World Bank Group to clear a 96.9 billion shillings loan next month after Parliament passed an improved version of a conflict of interest bill, and the government has returned to the market for new borrowing worth 60 billion shillings via 3 reopened treasury bonds. That is covered inside the Business Daily. Yep.
Awesome. And it's 50 minutes past 7, already done with the newspaper review. Hope you can grab a copy of your favorite, but also tune in to Hope FM. At the top of every hour, we do have some good news updates for you at Hope TV, Dira at 7 p.m. and Newswatch at 9 p.m. You can also tune in and have a look at what we have culminated from now all the way to the evening bulletin.
Yep.
So you can tune in and also be informed. But let's keep praying for our nation. I believe that God is on our side and all shall be well. Even as we should be praying towards the 2027 elections heavily, not just during the elections, but even after the elections, however the results come out. Let's keep praying fervently for this nation of ours, and I believe that all will be well. So let's now have a look at the video of the day. We'll come back and talk about it.